Good morning, friends. Welcome back to She's At It Again. My name is Tanya, and I am going to a potluck in the next couple of days, and I need to bring a big bowl of salad. So I'm going to make a Mexican street corn pasta salad. This is a recipe that I saw Becky from Acre Homestead make, and she changed up a few things. Well, hey, I'm changing up a few more things on this. I don't have fresh corn on the cob. I don't even know where to find organic fresh corn on the cob around here, to be honest. And in my yard, I can't grow it. So we are stuck with frozen corn. And when I say stuck with frozen corn, it's not even the bad kind. It's Trader Joe's organic, super sweet corn. And it's so good. I eat it like candy out of the bag while I'm making something. So go with me as we quickly mix up a few things. We've already cooked our elbow macaroni, which is supposed to be ditalini pasta, but can't find that here anywhere either. I've had my husband search in 2 different towns here, and we can't find it in organic. We can find enriched, and I'll explain the difference to you in just a minute. But let's go over and mix up our Mexican street corn pasta salad and see what this looks like. So go with me. Okay, I have to laugh because my dogs are out in the sunroom going crazy. They think I'm in here talking to somebody, and I'm talking to you, but they think there's people in the house, and they want at them. So, all right, we're going to get started by putting things in this big bowl right here. As you've seen earlier, I think we put that clip of the video in there earlier of me taking the cooked pasta and pouring it into a colander, draining the hot water, and then pouring it into some ice water. I want that to cool off really well before we start putting it in this because it had some textured cheeses in this. Well, a textured cheese, and I don't want it melting. So anyway, we're gonna get started by, let's see, what do I wanna do? Well, actually, you know what? We are gonna put the pasta in here before we put other things because we gotta put the olive oil in here too. We're gonna put 2 teaspoons of olive oil in here. I'm just gonna eyeball it. That's about 2 teaspoons. Now we're going to get the pasta. I'm going to drain it in the colander real quick. We'll put it in this. I feel like I need this in a salad spinner because I don't want wet pasta in there. So I'm draining it as much as I can and really jiggling it and shaking it. I just need that water out of there. The ditalini pasta is like little tiny little short squatty tubes. It's not fat pasta, it's small. And I think what the author of this recipe is trying to accomplish is getting most of the things that have a texture to them about the same size, so it just gives a better feel in your mouth. But it's not going to add any difference to it's not going to change the taste of this any at all that we're using elbow macaroni. If all you have is spaghetti, break the spaghetti up and use it. But we searched high and low for ditalini pasta, not finding it anywhere here. I would have had to order it on Amazon, and I need to make this today. All right, so we have our olive oil in our bowl. I'm just going to put the pasta in here, and it's cooled off enough to where it's not going to melt anything. And let me put this over here at the sink. Okay, we're going to be fancy today. It's summertime. I'm using my flamingo spatula. How fun is that? All right, just get this mixed up a little bit. We want to get the macaroni coated with oil as much as we can, just so it doesn't stick together. That's really the only purpose in that. The next ingredient we're going to add to this is my Trader Joe's super sweet organic frozen corn. And when I say super sweet, it's like candy. I'm not even tricking you. It is super sweet. It's so good. I usually buy like 10 bags at a time when I go in there. I look like I'm up to some shenanigans, but I don't know what anybody could do dangerous with corn, but I would be that customer because I buy a lot of them. All right, just get that good and coated. Now, I'm not going to necessarily serve it in this bowl. This isn't an attractive bowl. It's just a big bowl. I want to mix it up in this and then transfer it to a prettier bowl. So about 3 cups. I think it calls for 4 corn on the cob, and you cut all the corn off of it, but I'm guessing that's going to be around 3.5 cups. So we're going to add our corn to that. I put this in the refrigerator to thaw a little bit overnight, so it's pretty cold. Next, we're going to add our lime juice. If you've watched my videos recently and kept up with them, I did a video on how to always have lime juice on hand. And if you'll remember, I zested the limes first, saved the lime peel, then we juiced all the limes and poured them in these little ice cube trays, and then popped the cubes of lime juice out, put them in a zip top bag. Well, this calls for a 1/4 cup of lime juice, and each one of those little cubes is about a tablespoon of lime juice, which equals a 1/4 cup. So I melted those earlier. This is 4 of those little cubes. So a 1/4 cup of fresh lime juice. We need a cup of mayonnaise. And I had to make mayonnaise yesterday. This is a peanut butter jar, but I make mayonnaise and put in this. And I am tight with my mayonnaise because it's not that making mayonnaise is hard. That's how we get our mayonnaise, is we make it, because there's just not a store brand that I can find locally that has good ingredients in it. It just doesn't. It either has soy in it or just some ingredient that I don't want in, but my mayonnaise is fabulous, and we can link that video on how to make mayonnaise. You will be shocked at how easy it is, but you'll also be shocked at how delicious it is. Oh, that looks pretty already. It's just noodles and corn. That's funny. Okay, about a cup of mayonnaise. I just don't like setting aside the time to make the mayonnaise and then having to, clean the few little spoons it takes. I don't know what my deal is, but I always say I need to make mayonnaise, and then I just keep putting it off like doing laundry or vacuuming the floors or something. It's not hard. It's just something I have to take time out to do. Okay, about a cup of mayonnaise. That gives me a little bit left in there. That way when my husband starts searching for mayonnaise in the fridge, he can go, "Oh, you made mayonnaise." He'll be so excited. Next ingredient is a cup of Mexican crema, or you can use sour cream, and that's what I'm using, is sour cream, because if I buy crema, that's the only thing I'm using it for. Then it just goes to waste. But I have lots of sour cream in my refrigerator because we go through ranch dip a lot, especially during the summertime when the vegetables are so good and the carrots are so sweet. And I keep cut up vegetables and ranch dip in the fridge all the time. That's my substitute for what some people would eat with a sandwich, maybe chips or something like that. We grab the veggies and ranch dip, and sometimes I eat more of that than I do a sandwich, so it's kind of nice. All right, a cup of sour cream, and I already have it measured out. This is just whole fat sour cream. Now, you could always mix your ingredients up in something separate and then just add it to the macaroni at the end, but I'm just dumping it all in the bowl. The nice thing about a short pasta like elbow macaroni is you can't really mush it too much. You can't tear it up. It doesn't look like you've over-stirred it or over-mixed it. So that's kind of nice. This would be something good to have your kids help with because it's a good stir. Make sure they have a really big bowl so it doesn't go over the sides. To this, we're going to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. A 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And I just buy my garlic powder in bulk from our local Good Measure market. That way I can always have some on hand. 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. I'm going to use the end of this spoon because I can measure out about 1/4 teaspoon. Eyeball it. You don't want to overdo the cayenne, but cayenne pepper is so good for you. And it does add a little heat to it, so just know that ahead of time. We're also going to chop up some fresh cilantro. I just washed this really well and dried it so we could chop it up. Make sure you can see that. Yep, I think you can. Let me turn this down just a bit. There we go. And a lot of people, they'll say, oh, yes, the leaves are what you want to use. That's not true. Use the stems. The flavor is in the stems. Don't just use the stems because visually the leaves are just more appealing in a recipe. But you want to use the stems for the flavor. We might add more chopped cilantro for the top of this when I'm done because it just looks so pretty, and I love the flavor of cilantro. Some people don't. They say it has a metal taste to it maybe, or just an off taste, and it's not that some people just are being difficult. Some people just receive the flavor that way. It has something to do with the iron in it or something, minerals maybe, in it. Same way with molasses, same way with beets. Beets taste like dirt to me. There is nothing about a beet that tastes like it looks. It looks like a blob of jelly that would be so delicious, like, you know, a can of store-bought cranberry sauce. It tastes like dirt, just pure dirt, sorry. And I want to like beets, but yeah, probably not going to happen. I read a recipe the other day and somebody said, oh, if you'll roast these beets and put them in here, it'll be so good. I'm like, just leave them out because that's just a high risk. I'm not willing to ruin a whole dish. If somebody else will make it and I can just try it, I might be a believer, but I'm just not willing to ruin a whole dish of something to put what tastes like dirt in there. But again, I want to like it, but I just don't. All right. To this, we're going to add 1/2 cup of Queso Fresco. This is also known as, I think it's called, let's see. It's either cotija or cotija. I'm thinking it's cotija since it's a Mexican cheese. It's also labeled under that, but this one says Queso Fresco and it's the same thing. So we're going to use about 1/2 cup of this. And it crumbles like feta. And I've never used this cheese before, so I'm kind of excited because I am a fan of feta. I love me some feta cheese. Okay, this feels like, we're just going to crumble it in here. I'm trying to think of what this feels like. It feels like caulk when it's almost set, but not all the way. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Yeah, it almost has a sandy feel to it when you start crumbling. It's not as sticky as feta, but okay, I gotta taste this. See what it tastes like. Oh, that's good. That's really nice. It's not as salty as feta. That's fabulous. Okay, sure we only need a half a cup of this? I may be putting more than a half a cup in this. We'll crumble some extra on the top. That's what we'll do. Man, that's really nice. Very mild. All right, let me wash my hands and then we'll put one more ingredient in there. I didn't even have the center island lights on, so now they're on. You can see everything now. All right, we're gonna stir this up. I keep expecting to read onions on the list, but there's no onions in this. A red onion would add a lot of pretty color to it, but I don't necessarily know that would enhance the flavor because I've not had this before. It's going to be my first time of trying it when I take it to this potluck I'm going to. Okay, we'll move this out of the way for just a minute. And this is what we're going to add to it. This is chili lime Tajin. And they make bigger bottles of this. This is sold in the produce section normally. And this just adds it as an ingredient. So I'm just saying sprinkle it on there till it looks real pretty. And we're gonna sprinkle some more on it when it gets in the bowl. But that looks nice. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Ooh, nice. I'm glad I used a bigger bowl than my serving bowl though. I would have been knocking it all over the counter. Of course, it's bad enough. I started the pasta cooking and then turned the camera off to start getting things ready over here. Look over, my pot's boiling over. Actually, I heard it before I saw it, but it didn't just boil over a little bit, it went everywhere. So I had to stop and clean that up. So I just want you to know, if it happens to you, you're not by yourself. Trust me on that one. Even old people let things cook over like that. I don't know why I left it on high when I put the lid on. Normally I put the lid on it, I put a spoon in it so it doesn't boil over, and then I turn it down. But for some reason I didn't turn it down. I walked over and started getting my serving bowl, and I was on the other side of the kitchen by the time I heard it. All right, let's pour this in our serving bowl. And there's my bowl I'm gonna serve it in. See if I can pour this in there without spilling it. I don't have a good track record this morning, so I'm not having much faith in it. Nope, some already went out on the counter. I want to leave some in there so I can taste this. Of course, pick up the stuff on the counter. Gotta clean the edge of the bowl. And I want to put a little more of this cheese on the top because it's so yummy. So for this recipe, I used about half of that circle, and that is a 10-ounce package of Queso Fresco. So just know if you're gonna make this recipe and then after you serve it, you think, man, I wanna make that again, you still got another half of a circle of cheese to use. All right, let me wash my hands again. It's not as sticky as feta, but it still sticks to your hands. And then we'll put more Tajin on the top. I see where it would look like Mexican street corn because this is what they put on Mexican street corn. This Tajin makes it look so pretty. Okay, and then I'll add a little bit more cilantro on this before we serve it. Maybe I'll get a picture of that and use it as a thumbnail. Probably not though, because I forget things like that. Okay, this is what it looks like at the end. Woohoo! That looks fabulous. Okay. Thanks for joining us again, guys. We hope this recipe has been helpful, something that you will enjoy making, especially at the end of the summer when it gets so hot and you just don't want to spend that much time in the kitchen. This went together quickly. I would say if this is good, this is going to be on our regular rotation of things to make, especially when friends come over. This is such a fun dish. Okay, all right. Recipe is in the description, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. The difference in enriched pasta and other pastas is that if it says made in Italy, or it'll usually say non-GMO, Italy's not allowed to use GMOs in their country. I don't know if you know that or not. The food in Italy is so clean. Somehow legally we can use that in the US. They can't use it in Italy. They don't use it in the UK. But any pasta that you can get from Italy is normally the same as our organic pasta over here. So look for made in Italy or organic pasta. But enriched just means they've taken the wheat or the semolina, they've taken things out of it that you'd benefit from, then added things back into it to make it kind of equal to what it used to be. It's not. If you see enriched on a package of pasta, just skip it and choose something else. That's why we didn't use ditalini, because the only thing we could find was enriched pasta. And I'm just not willing to do that. Let's make better choices. Okay, see you next time. Bye.